4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
But before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower.
Brake. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been mugged and a drift is going off.
I love it. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship by F1Countdown.com. This is, unfortunately, a rerun of this event, basically. The event itself not being rerun, I should say. The broadcast is being recorded afterwards because of issues due to connections and all sorts on the night. But I'm back here in the commentary box. Yours truly, Chaz Draycott. Can't get my words out today. I'm a little bit nervous of how this is all going to go, to be honest, because we're basing this off a replay file rather than the live event itself, so we'll have to just wait and see. Unfortunately, Ed May not able to make it today. We just haven't been able to get our calendars to align, but we're here for round 5 of the championship in France at Circuit Nevers Magny-Cours. It's going to be an awesome night of racing, I'm sure. Plenty of chaos and action coming your way, I can tell you that for free. Let's have a quick look at the championship standings, though, coming into this race meeting, and there you go. 4 rounds down, Cam Dance has the championship lead, and, well, he's certainly one to beat at the moment, isn't he? 57 points over the 43 of Jake Cranstone. And then we have Pete Harrod for Jordan in 3rd place. Silas Cragg-Vrolic, the favourite after pre-season testing, on 28 points, just ahead of Ben Hoffman. And then Sam Fitzpatrick, after a great Canadian Born Prix, going well up there in 6th place. It's really close behind, and it's close in the Teams Championship as well. You can see there Williams Mechachrome only 9 points ahead of McLaren Mercedes on 71. And then there's a bit of a gap back, though, to Jordan Mugen Honda and Ferrari. They're only separated by 7 points, and then 8 points back to Arrow's Yamaha in 5th position as well. Really looking forward to this one, though. It should be a lot of fun. But as we've just had now, the practice session has just come to a close in the background, and we're going to shift on over into qualifying. And it's here that we will see the first sightings of a new driver that has made its way, or made his way, into the championship. Jesper Eriksson will join the Benetton team. Unfortunately, Sam Bentham not with us for the rest of the season. He's been unable to sort of adjust work commitments and other things to get into the season, and we wish Sam all the best. But Jesper Eriksson is the new driver to take on the seat at Benetton, teammate with Ben Hoffman for this season, and we're excited to see how Jesper can do. A number of you will recognise his name from before. He's raced a number of times on different Chaz Draycott Media series, actually. I say Chaz Draycott Media series. He's raced in different championships that I've broadcasted and commentated on before anyway. He raced in the Nevo British F4 series, if I remember rightly, and I think he did a stint in the Formula 3 cars as well. We've got Simon Price out there on circuit with him as well in the Tyrrell Ford. Simon will be hoping to grab some championship points out of this one, because Tyrrell and Minardi still without points, unfortunately, at this point of the season. So we wait to see what they can manage from this 5th round of the championship. And after tonight, let's not forget that this is going to be the halfway point of the season as well. This is going to be halfway done and dusted. So we have Jesper in for the remainder of the championship as he now makes his way around the final couple of corners here towards his first flying lap of the championship. Magny-Cours is obviously a circuit that's been around on the F1 calendar for a long, long time. It's hosted many, many races in the Formula 1 World Championship before, and we hope that Formula 1 can bring the entertainment just as thoroughly. A little note as well, just sort of breaking character for a moment on the fact that this is a rerun, effectively. We will not have replays tonight, I'm afraid, because of when we click the live function within our timing software, it obviously goes to the very end of said replay. So we will not have any replays of the action this evening, I'm afraid. Maybe post-editing Chaz can throw them in. But Jesper Eriksson then, starting his first flying lap in his campaign. It's a 30.78 in the first sector. Obviously they will be purple sectors for him, but it's going to be interesting to see how far up the order he can throw this car, because let's not forget they go out in reverse championship order in this one-shot qualifying session. And I think, unfortunately for Simon Price, he's had a drama because he's gone back into the pits and his lap is already done. So by the look of it, Simon having an issue. So Jesper Eriksson now pretty much on track on his own. The other two cars that are out there, though, are the Minardis of Rob Lundgren and John Roberts. John will be the first of which to start a lap as well. The car steps out a little bit on Jesper there. Tries to break away from him. Onto the throttle, down the hill towards the final corners. Obviously this part of the lap different to how it would have been in 1998, the season that we are replicating this season in Formula 1. But Jesper seemingly working this very hard indeed. Close to the track limits there. Nice and hot over the chicane. How wide can you go out there as well? Because he's got two wheels over the white line, but it does count, and it's a 134.994 for Jesper Eriksson, and he completes his first time in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship, and we look forward to seeing where that puts him on the grid. What can the other drivers now do to dethrone him from that? Here comes John Roberts then in the Minardi Ford across the line down the start-finish straight. One of the only start-finish straights I've ever seen that has a curb all the way down it, as you see there. Flat through turn 1 here, the left-hander at Grand Curb, then towards Estoril. Horrible part of the circuit because the actual track itself goes away from you, then comes back up. Careful not to run wide on the exit. Down towards the next right kink, which is this next one here called Gulf. And then hard onto the brakes into Adelaide. A lot of the corners here named after circuits with which they share said corner design. You can hear the car trying to break away there on John. You can hear it sort of four-wheel drifting on the way into the braking zone. He's done a green sector. He's 0.6 off Jesper Eriksson in that sector. Rob Lundgren next up then, 31.9 for him. He's another, well, he's 1.2 seconds off in the first sector is Rob. So it's looking like Jesper Eriksson was very, very quick, even just in the first sector alone. The two Prosts have made their way out onto the track as well now. Martin Kenyon next up. And then John Tusting, who got points for Prost on his return to the championship as well, which was great to see. John throwing it through the chicane here at Imola into Chateau d'Eau. I say D-O, but it's actually a D apostrophe E-A-U. Basically means the water house, I think, or the water tower. John Roberts now down into the final sector. 134.994 to beat. I don't think he's going to beat that. Oh, not with the lockup like that either. He's gone deep. He keeps the lap valid, though. He doesn't get outside of those track limits. It's a little bit scrappy through the final chicane, and it's a 137.896 for John Roberts. Puts him second fastest. No, Rob Lundgren's overdone it. Lundgren goes deep in the final corner, and I think that will invalidate the time. We'll have to see. No, it does count, actually, but it's a 139.206 for Rob Lundgren, and he'll be gutted at that one. Not able to match his teammate there. That mistake at the end of the lap really costing him. So where is... Yes, John Tusting is the next car, actually. He went out after Martin Kenyon, but I think he was just a little bit late getting onto the circuit. So here goes John. He's been recently back from shoulder surgery, which is why he missed the first couple of rounds of the championship for Michael Jones to take over. Through the first couple of corners now, down towards Estoril. Get to see this beautiful shiny Prost in the sunshine here in France. Doesn't use all of the road though, doesn't let it run out wide, he just tightens the line to the apex on the right hand side. Kenyon is just about to start his flying lap now. Hops over the curbs and gets on with it. As Tusting now gets into Adelaide again, you can see the car just four-wheel drifting there. It tries to slide away from everybody. Speeding down towards the chicane at Nürburgring. Look at the pace these cars carry through there. The direction change is fantastic. Toby Ward and Nico Minardi are going to be the next pairing to make their way to the circuit. No purple sectors coming in yet, though, by either of these guys. To be fair, though, no disrespect to them, but we know that Jesper Eriksson's time is going to be hard to beat. He was right up there in practice as well, one of the fastest in the practice session. So it shows that Benetton will be on for some very strong championship points, I'm sure, in the next couple of race meetings. After this, we have a 2-week break to the next round of the season, which is the British Boar Prix at Silverstone on the old 2008 layout. As across the line goes Tusting, 1.7 seconds off, but he's ahead of the two Minardis, a 136.757. Here's his teammate Martin Kenyon pushing very hard indeed through Imola. Hard onto the brakes. Nice and tidy through the hairpin. Doesn't run out all the way to the left-hand side. Interesting to see the different parts of the circuit where people aren't really throwing the car out wide and using all the road. Martin keeps it nice and tidy. Short shifts as well into the last couple of corners. But he's gone straight into the pits. I think he invalidated his lap time. So Martin Kenyon's lap is not going to count. That means we move straight on to the next car, which is Toby Ward in the Stuart Ford. Toby's taken on some real racing duties recently in his road car as well, in a bring what you've brought, no, run what you brought sort of scenario. As Toby blinks his way across the start-finish line through turns 1 and 2. Down towards Estoril. Nice and quick through there. He's followed by a man that invalidated both of his lap times in the first 2 rounds of the season, Nico Minardi. He's going to be hoping for a clean run through this qualifying session. Here goes Toby through Gulf. Flat out as hard as possible, putting his foot through the firewall. Down in towards Adelaide. None of them really setting the world alight in terms of the sectors at the moment. Toby now flying in towards Nürburgring. What's Nico like into Adelaide? Very tidy, really tucks it into that apex. One of the few cars that we haven't seen with a four-wheel drift through there at the moment. Toby now on the exit of the hairpin that's just called 180. The little right-left kink after that doesn't actually have a name by the look of it. Flings it into Imola. These cars make it look effortless into there, don't they? Into Chateau d'Eau. Oh, he has to be careful though because he nearly goes over the curb on the left-hand side of the circuit on the exit. You can also see there the next two cars that are making their way around the track. Ben Chalcraft and Mike Murphy, Jordan and Sauber. Toby's gone a little bit deep into the right-hander. Manages to recover it nicely though. What's the time going to be like? Is he going to beat Tosting? He's not. But he's going to beat John Roberts. It's a 1:37.744 for Toby Ward. Nico Minardi's time looks quite a bit quicker at this moment. He's a 10th quicker in Sector 1, but he's a good 7/10 quicker in Sector 2. And Nico's got that mid-lap pace at least. He crosses the line and goes second fastest for now, 1:36.519 for Nico Minardi. A lovely lap. Puts him ahead of the rest of the opposition at this moment in time. And he can be really pleased with himself with that one. 1.5 seconds off Jesper Eriksson, and really shows how quick the Swede is and what he is going to be putting down in terms of performance and what it's going to take to beat him. Here's Ben Chalcraft in the Jordan Mugen Honda. He's going to be the next car to cross the line and start a fast lap here at Magny-Cours. You can see Mike Murphy in the background with that signature bright green helmet, colours that Mike's been racing with on Circuit Superstars since he began. These two also part of the Minardi Simsport camp with Nico, who is of course the man behind F1Countdown.com as well, our championship sponsor. We're also sponsored by Sim Racing Magazine, as you see in the top right of your screen there, and Abruzzi Racewear as well, and we're very grateful to have them on board as sponsors for this championship. Here comes Ben Chalcraft then in the Jordan, using all of the road on the right hand side and opening up turn 1 as well as he can. He's been a real star so far this season, as Ben. He's going to be looking forward to another lovely evening's race, I'm sure. He's had some great success before this point. Let's see what those sector times look like. It's the purple ones that we're really looking for. But we can compare the two drivers that are on the same lap at the same time. Hard onto the brakes, now into Adelaide. Goes Chalcraft, you can see the back end breaking away. Slams all the lock on that he can. And the first sector by Ben Chalcraft is a 31.32, and it's a 31.26 for Mike Murphy. So Mike a little bit quicker before they get into Adelaide. Through Nürburgring, clips the yellow curb on the right-hand side. Maybe just the colours attracting the buzzing Hornet, as he's gone a little bit deep into 180, but that's going to give him a better exit, though. You might see some drivers doing that, actually. Just pushing it a little bit deep into there. Does Mike do it as well? No, he actually sticks it to the apex all the way around there. Through Imola. Chalcraft using a lot of each curb there. Tries to get it nice and straight on the brakes. Waits for the car to tuck itself in. They can be very understeery, these cars, but at the same time they can then have sort of snap oversteer on the brakes. You've got to be very careful with the downshifts here. Here comes Ben Chalcraft then. Final couple of corners, really attacks that inside curb. It almost helps rotate the car in a way. Really attacking the final two chicane curbs, and he goes faster than Nico Minardi by a couple of tenths of a second. 1.286 off Jesper Eriksson, so that puts Chalcraft provisionally on the front row of the grid. And here comes Mike Murphy. He then takes another couple of tenths off that. Great lap by the Sauber driver. Mike Murphy with a 1:36.070. A lovely, lovely time, but still some second off the fastest lap at the moment by Jesper Eriksson, newcomer to the championship, really stamping his authority on this qualifying session, isn't he? Next up is going to be Stuart Clark. He's just making his way now around a warm-up lap. I think his teammate was supposed to go out around the same time as him, Tom Minot, but he doesn't seem to have taken to the circuit at the moment, so hopefully all is okay there with Tom. But Stuart Clark in the gorgeous Black Arrows A19. Oh, maybe overdoing it slightly on the way through Imola. But that's the perfect time to do it, though, on your outlap. So you know that the car doesn't completely behave through there. As Ed has rightly pointed out throughout the season so far, The cars take about 2 or 3 laps to get fully up to temperature with the tyres, so you will see a number of them doing purple sectors on their in-laps. Stuart Clark now doesn't really open up that chicane too well at the final corner either. Has a bit of a wiggle as well as he gets onto the start-finish straight. He won't be too chuffed with that because he's not setting himself up for a great opening to the lap. But we'll see how he does through Estoril now. He spends so long off the throttle around there, even in cars like this as well. It's not flat by any stretch of the imagination. Up through the revs, up through the speed. Nearly 140 miles an hour as he hits the brakes into Adelaide. Jack Stiles and Kevin Zemstra will be the next 2 cars to make their way out. Stewart pushing on though. This arrow's looking very, very tasty. Shining away in the northern French sunshine. Look at the attack there through Nürburgring into 180. Nice and smooth on the brakes. Stewart, no, he's gone too deep. Will that give him an off-track penalty though? Will that count as being outside of track limits? He was technically over the line. But sometimes, as long as you're not touching the grass, iRacing will be lenient with you. It knows that you can't really gain any time by being out there. Goes through Miller, through the right, through the left, into Chateau, as I'm just going to call it for the rest of the night so I don't sound like an idiot. Nice and tidy on the exit though, wasn't it, by Stuart Clark? Now he's obviously going to have lost a lot of time in that middle sector, but it's how good the other sectors were around that. He had a great run at the Spanish Grand Prix a couple of races ago. Where does he put the car now? Goes 5th fastest. He's a couple of thousandths off Nico Minardi, but he'll be rueing that mistake in the middle of the lap because he was quick, very quick, especially in the last sector actually. Really outdid the cars around him there. Here's Jack Stiles' next car on circuit then in the Stewart Ford. We've only got half of the field left to go now, I'd say. Jack's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season so far. Wasn't too happy at the Canadian Grand Prix, but it was a simple mistake by Jake Cranstone that led to the contact. There's a bit of a blink in and out there for Jack. And we've got the next car starting his qualifying lap behind him, the Ferrari of Kevin Zemstra, another man that's had 0 luck so far this season. He had 0 luck last season as well. Was on the verge of quitting a couple of times, was Kevin, because it was an incredibly frustrating season for him. I love this shot of the cars as they go over the rises and crests out of the Adelaide hairpin down towards Nürburgring. Very loud microphone there, as well as the circuit renders in the background. Look how close to the white lines they are through there. Jack Stiles really pushing on. It's one of the hardest braking zones on the circuit though, into 180, a little left-hand hairpin. Stewart looking very glamorous as well, isn't it? It's a very simple livery, but it does the job. Running very wide. You can hear a little blurp from the curb there as it makes its high-pitched noise getting clipped by these slick tyres. We've got the next 2 cars heading out onto the circuit as well, which is Tim Perry and Sam Fitzpatrick, the Ferrari and then the Williams. Oh, Jack's turned in early there into the final couple of corners. Lights up the rear, really slides it through. Has to attack the last chicane, doesn't have a choice. Still goes second fastest though. 0.980 of a second from pole position. Very well done to Jack Stiles. How's Kevin Zemstra going to do? That's really wide out the final couple of corners. Oh, I think Sam Fitzpatrick's had a nightmare. I think Sam Fitzpatrick's been off. It's a purple final sector for Kevin Zemstra, and he goes second fastest to Jesper Eriksson. 0.299 of a second off. Now, I'd love to go back and show you what happened to Sam Fitzpatrick, but unfortunately, due to this being a recording afterwards, we're unable to. I'd love to be able to show you, but I daren't risk it at this point. This is now Tim Perry, who's been very lively in the last couple of races, it's safe to say. He had a great run at the Spanish Grand Prix, scared the life out of his teammate and Pete Harrod at the Canadian Grand Prix. He's going to be looking for some solid results here at Magny-Cours. Interesting to see that Zemstra got a purple final sector though, so we know roughly where the pace is relative to Jesper Eriksson, because Kevin clearly bettered him in that last couple of corners. Tim gets a very impressive run through Nürburgring into 180. See, it looks like everybody's going really deep on the way in, but they can clip that exit curb, or the apex curb at least, and get a nice speedy run on the exit. Throws the car in at Imola. You can see the drivers just slam all the lock onto the right hand side through there. There's not really any sort of smooth application about it through Chateau. And Tim Perry now heads down towards the last couple of corners. Sam Fitzpatrick has gone back out, actually, by the look of it, to go and do a qualifying lap. But here comes Perry. Oh, it looked like he went a little bit hot over that final chicane. He goes third fastest. 0.489 of a second off the top spot. But it's Ferrari's second and third at the moment. Well done to Tim Perry. Beats Jack Styles by nearly half a second as well. Now here's Sam Fitzpatrick. He's made it round. I think he had a crash on his original outlap, and he's now going to start his timed lap. So behind him we then have Ben Hoffman, the other of the two Benettons. He's been the sole Benetton driver so far this season. We then have Silas Kragvrolik as well, who's completing his outlap. So we've got a trio of them now that will start their fast laps in order, but the stream of cars will continue to come round. Ben Hoffman's time there saying he's minus a minute and a half. That would be a very, very quick lap, wouldn't it? Oh, sounds like someone's had a drama. Is that Tim Perry? No. No, it's Silas. Silas having the drama on his outlap, so he's just taking his time to calm it down again. Sam Fitzpatrick, though, pushing on here. Doing some decent sector times by the look of it. Nice and quick through Nürburgring. Again, it's 180. It'll look like he's gone deep. But then, look, catches that curb. Tidies up the exit of the corner. Lets it run quite far out to his left-hand side. Not all the cars have been clipping that green AstroTurfy bit on the right-hand side of shot. Oh, Sam was very close to the white lines there. I'm not sure if that would have invalidated the lap or whether that'll still count. He's over the white lines there, but he's still on the curb, which, like I say, I think iRacing lets you get away with. We'll only find out when he crosses the line. He seems like he's still going for it, like it's a valid lap time, so it should count. He has continued on. Where does it put him? 7th. Wow. Much further down than I would have expected for Sam Fitzpatrick. I think Ben Hoffman's had a drama on his lap, so I don't think that's going to count for him. He's taking it nice and chilled into the final few corners. And into the pits goes Ben Hoffman. So Silas Kragvrolik next up. Hoffman's time does count, actually, but he's 12.8 seconds off. So clearly a spin or an incident of some sort there for him. Silas Kragvrolik now coming into the last couple of corners. He was the fastest in pre-season testing, hence the fact he's driving a McLaren this season, representing Mika Häkkinen. Can he be the one to dethrone Jesper Eriksson? Because that time at the moment by the Benetton is looking very good. 3/10 quicker than Zemstra can manage. Silas launching it one way then the other. Oh, he goes better than Zemstra, but it's not enough to beat Eriksson. Wow. Wow, oh wow. That is one hell of a lap time you have set there, Jesper Eriksson. Awesome, awesome job. So 2 more cars about to cross the line and get going. Pete Harrod is next up for the Jordan Mugen Honda team. Pete's been a star again this season. Really playing the game in a lot of the races. Sitting in the slipstream. Staying with the group near the front. Not doing anything over the top. Just making moves when they need making. And saving that all-important fuel as well to make the pit stops shorter. Our races so far this season have all been just individual single pit stops. Into Adelaide goes Pete Harrod. Bit of a wiggle on the brakes there. The car tries to step out. He's got Jake Cranstone just behind him as well in the McLaren, one of the favourites for the championship after the first couple of meetings. One of the only ones that seems to be able to really take the fight to Cam Dance, who again just knows how to play the game. Cam's just about to start his qualifying lap, actually. He's just coming down here now into the last couple of corners. He's going to push on and see whether he can get another pole position this season. Pete Harrod then into Imola again. You can just see the jolt of steering lock go on as he throws the car right, throws it left, takes his time to get it composed on the brakes. Nice exit. Now it seems to me like a lot of them are turning in early for this right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Has Pete done so? It looks like they're going to, but then they get through it all right. Pete does a good job, a little dab of the brakes to turn the nose of the car in. Across the line, and it's fourth fastest for Pete Harrod. Splits the two Ferraris of Zemstra and Perry. And a great lap indeed. What about Cranstone? Where can he go? He goes second. Second fastest, quicker than his teammate Craig Vrolik, but still not faster than Jesper Eriksson. Unbelievable stuff. What about Cam Dance now? He's actually already on his fast lap. Is Jesper Eriksson going to take pole position for Benetton on his debut? It would be amazing if he did. Also terrifying as well at the thought of a Benetton starting to dominate the championship, undoing all of the pre-season testing that we've done to make sure people are in the right liveries for who's the fastest and who's not. Cam Dance has a bit of a wiggle. Not sure he got away with that, you know. That will have definitely cost him quite a bit of time. If anyone can find time, we know it's Cam, reigning champion for a reason. And he flies over the final chicane, but it's sixth fastest for Cam Dance. Unbelievable stuff. So that means, out of everybody, it's Jesper Eriksson that takes pole position here at the French Grand Prix. Wow. Well, that's one hell of a turn up for the books, that is. Very well done to Jesper. Let's have a look at how that qualifying session finished. Jesper Eriksson is going to take his first pole position in the championship ahead of Jake Cranstone on the front row. Amazing stuff by both of them. Still has Craig Vrolik next up with Kevin Zemstra in fourth, then Pete Harrod in fifth. Cam Dance will line up sixth with Tim Perry in seventh and Jack Stiles in eighth place. Mike Murphy ninth ahead of Ben Chalcraft in 10th. As the session ticks over, Sam Fitzpatrick will be 11th ahead of Stuart Clark in 12th. Nico Minardi and John Tusting make up row 7 ahead of Toby Ward and John Roberts in 16th place. Rob Lundgren is 17th, and in 18th place we have Ben Hoffman. 19th place, apparently me because I joined the session as a driver. Tom Minot 20th ahead of Martin Kenyon and Simon Price. So this would be that time where Ed and I would take a quick break from commentary, everybody, and we would watch the warm-up session. But what I'm going to do is just skip through past things now and go straight to the race session. I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, so that is warm-up now finishing, and as the session ticks over and Barney waves the checkered flag down there, we will now get on to the grid for round 5 of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship by F1Countdown.com. Jesper Eriksson takes pole position in his first ever race in the championship. Jake Cranstone alongside him on the front row, with Silas Craig Vrolik and Kevin Zemstra next up. Then it's Pete Harrod and Cam Dance on row 3. Row 4 held by Tim Perry and Jack Stiles. Mike Murphy and Ben Chalcraft are on row 5 ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick and Stuart Clark. Watch out for Sam coming back from there. Nico Minardi is 13th in car 13 ahead of John Tusting in 14th. Toby Ward is next up alongside John Roberts. Then it's Rob Lundgren and Ben Hoffman. Tom Minot will start in 19th place because I'm not actually technically there on the grid. Martin Kenyon will be 20th and Simon Price will be at the back of the grid in 21st place. So we've got 29 laps here of Magny-Cours, and this man, Jesper Eriksson, starts on what is the outside for turn 1 from pole position. And it's going to be a very nerve-wracking time for him, trying to hold off all of this rabble behind and see whether he can turn it into a race victory on his debut in the championship. We're going to have Cam Dance starting all the way back in 6th place. There's been a jump start for Tom Minot, but we're underway for round 5 of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship by F1Countdown.com, and it's a horrible start for Jake Cranstone. Jake's gone completely backwards and lost 4 places immediately off the start. Jesper Eriksson gets away beautifully. Ben Chalcraft's had a bit of a drama. Whoa! Ben Chalcraft's been absolutely nailed. Never mind a bit of a drama. Stuart Clark piling into the back of the Jordan. Ben Chalcraft lost a couple of places. I saw him have a wiggle, and then all of a sudden he got absolutely smashed. We've got Harrod on the inside of Zemstra here, then Crag Vrolic around the outside. Here comes Cranstone to the inside, though. He's late on the brakes. Oh no, he's clipped Zemstra. Zemstra's around and Crag Vrolic's into him. Zemstra and Crag Vrolic once again coming together as the rest of the field streaks through. But Jake Cranstone will not make many friends with that one. There's more dramas further back. John Roberts is off the road. We've got John Tusting as well. He's had big damage, and I think that's the end of his race already. But my oh my, Jake Cranstone was late on the brakes into the Adelaide hairpin, and he will not make many friends with that one. There's another car around. Who's that in the background? No, it's Nico Minardi. Nico from 13th on the grid, having a drama instantly as the race gets going. Well, the whole thing's a drama, isn't it? Look at the damage there on Ben Chalcraft's car. Wrong car, Chaz. He took a massive hit there from Stuart Clark. And already out of the race we have Tusting, Zemstra and Crag Vrolic, and that's at least two of the championship protagonists there. But near the front, or at the front anyway, it's Jesper Eriksson in the Benetton. Can you believe this? What a turn up for the Bucks this is. Ahead of Jake Cranstone, Pete Harrod third, and Sam Fitzpatrick from 11th on the grid. Well, I was going to say he's gained 6 places. It's now going to be 5 as Tim Perry goes through in the Ferrari down the inside. Car off in the background. Martin Kenyon. Martin gained 11 places on that first lap by the look of it. And he's had a spin now and is dropping right down to the back of the order. Oh, it's a huge shame for Martin. And look at this now. Sam Fitzpatrick has got his teammate creating colleague Jack Stiles right behind him in the Stewart. And then there's another Stewart stalking its prey as well in the form of Toby Ward on the back of Mike Murphy. He's going to try and go around the outside here into Adelaide. Doesn't quite work out for him. He needs to get the run on the exit though and be careful about it at the same time because of other cars coming through. There's Ben Hoffman. He's recovering well as well. He's gained 7 places since the start of this race. So is Rob Lundgren in front of him. And Simon Price, 10 places gained for the Tyrrell so far in this race, and he's into the points in 12th position. So we've got a Minardi and a Tyrrell both into the points at this moment in time, which would be the first time this season that either of them score points. Here's our usual lead group starting once again. It's a bit more spread out than it normally is here. Cam Dance will be happy that he's gained 2 places though to begin with. That was a rough start. And a real shame for those involved as whoa, big accident. Big accident there. John Roberts, I think that was, going around. And Nico Minardi's side pod completely ripped off. John Roberts' car, well, squished to say the least on that front left. Ben Chalcraft has more damage as well. It's an absolute bloodbath here in the north of France. There's cars coming out of the pits there. Kevin Zemstra actually resuming the race, coming from the pits. John Tusting also coming back out, so hats off to the guys. They're continuing on despite their earlier dramas. Ben Hoffman here in 10th place. Started 18th on the grid after not setting a valid time, so he'll be over the moon with that progress. Here's Stuart Clark now on the back of Simon Price as well. Simon's also having a good run. 10 places gained for him so far. But what a lively start to the race indeed here in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship by F1Countdown.com. Stuart down the inside of Simon. Oh, I don't think Simon saw him. I don't think Simon knew that he was going to go down the inside all the way there. Got an interesting little group here with Sam Fitzpatrick and his teammate Cam Dance sandwiching Tim Perry either side of him right now. Towards the end of the lap though, this is what Imola is like. It's a terrifying couple of corners. You can see the way that the car floats its way in and floats its way out as Jack Stiles, I think, has gone off behind them. Yep, Jack's binned it at Imola. He comes, oh hello, comes back on as Rob Lundgren flies past. That's his 7th place gained in this race though for Rob. So the Minardi going well from near the back of the grid as, oh no, another car off. Simon Price off again. Wondering if he's got damage, you know, from that earlier incident. As now, whoa, Cam Dance off the road now. Cam's clearly had a drama there over the final chicane. Flipping heck. Well, he manages to recover and is now behind his teammate Sam Fitzpatrick, but that's promoted Tim Perry up into 4th position in the Ferrari. Jesper Eriksson leading this race by 1.6 seconds. Pete Harrod's actually closing in on Jake Cranstone right now in the McLaren. Bit of a lock-up there by the look of it. It looks like, though, in that initial incident, it was Jake Cranstone down the inside of Pete Harrod and down the inside of the Ferrari of Kevin Zemstra. His teammate Silas Craig-Rollick was in there as well. I think he just missed his braking point, trying to focus on not hitting Pete, really. As Cam Dancer's again gone deep here into 180. He's not having the sort of race he would have wanted. Cam has won 11 races in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. No other driver has ever won more than one. And to be fair, even if Jesper Eriksson wins this race in this very speedy Benetton, that will still remain a fact that nobody else has won more than one race. Unless Jake Cranstone can do anything about it, though, because we know how fast Jake is. He knows the game by now. He knows the strategy calls to make. It's whether Jesper can hold his nerve at the front of the field, and whether he can hold his nerve during the pit stops as well, because that's an important phase of the race. Lap 5 underway here at Magny-Cours. Jesper is absolutely flying, though, isn't he, at the front? Decent lead of 1.7 seconds at the moment. Ben Chalcraft, even with his damage, is continuing on in this race. Look at that rear wing. It's absolutely battered, isn't it? But clearly the car isn't misbehaving too much, so he's able to carry on racing. He's not been given a meatball flag either, which is the black flag with the orange circle in the middle of it that tells drivers that they have a damaged machine and they need to come into the pits because it's not safe. As Toby Ward here relinquishes a position to his teammate Jack Stiles and the other Stewart. Jack recovering after his spin earlier. Both of them inside the top 10 right now for Stuart Ford. And of course both within the points. Further back in the points we've got Rob Lundgren and then Stuart Clark. Stuart on for the final championship point of this race so far. A little bit of wing damage on the front of his car there by the look of it. And I tell you what, Jesper Eriksson is just getting further and further away from Jake Cranstone at the front. The gap went up to 1.9 seconds over that last sector and a bit. So Jesper is certainly the boy to beat at this moment in time. He's just so good in that middle sector. The number 37 car disappearing over the horizon right now. Pete Harrod ensuring that he doesn't get an off-track warning or any sort of track limits abuse warnings. Down the start-finish straight, moves over to the left a little bit as he continues on his chase now of Jake Cranstone in second place. Tim Perry in fourth, has got the two Williams queuing up behind him. Not much can be done from there though in that slipstream. It's about half a second between each of them, but listen to that from Cam, dipping the clutch. That might be why he's going deep into a couple of corners, you know. He's trying to save fuel as best he can. Battle going on here between Stuart Clark and Rob Lundgren. This is for 11th place. That finishing position would give you 2 championship points. I noticed Stuart's damage on his wing a little bit earlier, and that was of course due to the damage on Simon Price, or the contact with Simon Price I should say. Rob wants to go back down the inside there into Nürburgring. Doesn't make it work this time round. Ben Chalcraft wants to try and get back into the points though. He's now chasing down Simon Price, who we saw involved in contact earlier. Simon's gone a little bit deep into 180. Ben puts his nose down the inside. The two of them still side by side on the exit though, down towards Imola. Is Chalcraft going to get it done? Yes, I think Simon has relinquished that one. No, he's not. The overlap is still there. And Simon gets on the brakes. Martin Kenyon needs to take care coming into this as well. No, Martin had to take avoiding action effectively to make sure he didn't go into either of them as well. Tom Minot surely has ended his race with that one. That was a horrible accident. That was just near the beginning of the lap, that one. And Tom has a big drama as Ben Hoffman's off in the Benetton. Ben Hoffman's had a spin out of the final couple of corners. It's so easy to do it there. All you've got to do is hit that curb a little bit too hard and it spits you out wide, and that means now that the Minardi of Rob Lundgren is now back up into 11th place and more championship points. No Tyrrells in the points anymore, unfortunately, due to Simon Price not being there. We also don't have Gilles Gardner with us for the rest of the season now, which is a real shame. So there is a seat going at Tyrrell. We wish Gilles all the best, and of course thank him for his previous work with the Simtography side of things that he provides, and the posters and all sorts, and of course for the future work that he'll still be doing with the championship as well. Because despite the fact he won't be around to race on the night, he will still be with us to work on the broadcasts, or at least work on the photography. Here's Kevin Zemstra, 18th place at the moment for Kevin in the Ferrari, and he's going to be a bit gutted with how this one's going. No championship points coming his way this time round, unless there's a big change further up near the front of the field. Now, speaking of big changes further up near the front of the field, if we look at Jake Cranstone, did the fastest lap of the race on that penultimate lap that he just did, a 1:34.78, and Jesper Eriksson just did a 1:35.0. It's a 1:34.9 by Jake Cranstone, so the McLaren driver is reeling in our race leader here. Starting to close that gap ever so slightly. It's only a 10th here and a 10th there, but it all adds up, doesn't it? The two Williams Mechachrome cars together again. Before this season, we'd never had a 1-2 finish in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Then McLaren got one in Brazil. Then Williams got one in Canada. They nearly had one in Spain as well, but when fighting for, I think it was second place at the time, Cam Dance hit the back of his teammate Sam Fitzpatrick. And I know that Sam would have been holding his breath there into Adelaide, knowing that Cam is the one behind him again. Look at the way that the car moves around. You really have to be hot on it, don't you? Well, Cam knows how to wrestle this thing. Here's Simon Price in 14th position, close to the back of Ben Chalcraft, but he's not really staying on exact pace with him, but he's still doing a good job at being carried forward, let's say, a little bit by Ben. The slipstream will be helping Simon on certain parts of the circuit, but then other times there'll be aero wash really hindering him. But he's putting in a solid drive so far, is Simon. We've got a battle going on here. Now that car in the middle is John Tusting, who's a lap down on these guys. John moves over to one side as Stuart Clark goes chasing after Toby Ward. Stuart has gained 2 places from where he started, but Toby has gained 6. Toby Ward, Rob Lundgren and Ben Hoffman have all gained 6. Simon Price has gained 8. So there's a number of them that are all having really good runs so far into the top 10 as Toby pushes a little bit hard over that final chicane. You can see Ben Hoffman. Oh no, that was definitely Ben Hoffman around and into the wall in the background. We saw the spin, and as it crabbed the car, yeah, that's crabbing. Oh, Ben. That's the second time in a couple of laps he's overdone it into there, and that's going to be the end of his race. Frustrating time for the German, especially seeing his teammate. I know he'll be happy with the fact his teammate's right up there in the race, but I know that it'll be frustrating for him not to be a second points finishing car at least. Now, I've said before that Simon Price was going to get some help from Ben Chalcraft. He's actually outdoing him here. Sure, you can attribute the damage to it, but Simon Price is giving it a good go. He's up into 13th place now, so he needs to fight for this because Ben Chalcraft just in front of him is the final point scoring position. Potential points for Tyrrell here. I think there's just been a drama for Stuart Clark somewhere. No, actually, it's just him and Toby Ward still battling away here. Stuart got through, and then Toby got back in front of him. The lead gap now down to 1.2 seconds between Jesper Eriksson and Jake Cranstone. I know it says 1.3 on there, but it has updated since. Jesper's doing such a great job in this Benetton at the moment, though. The Swede new to the championship. One of 2 Swedish drivers that we have in the paddock now. Obviously with Rob Lundgren in the Minardi. Jack Stiles is having a bit of a blink in and out here and there. Here's that battle still going on behind. We've got Jake Cranstone second, Pete Harrod third. He's actually being reeled in now by Tim Perry and co. Mike Murphy's got Jack Stiles chasing him down as well. These two were having slightly lonely races before this. Jack's actually back to where he started now as well, in 8th position. Kevin Zemstra still circulating down in 17th. But Mike Murphy having another strong showing here so far for Sauber Petronas. the highest placed of the 3 Circuit Superstars drivers that we have on our grid for this season. The 3 of them all getting involved in iRacing around the same time and all really looking forward to getting into Formula 1. And their support for the championship has been unbelievable. I'm very, very grateful for it. Lap 10 out of 29 then, here at Magny-Cours. And the battles are starting to close up a little bit more and more here. This is Pete Harrod through the last chicane, very flamboyantly, as he tries to break away from Tim Perry, Sam Fitzpatrick and Cam Dance behind. Now the question is, when are we going to see pit stops? Because these drivers are allowed to pit at the end of lap 10. Nobody seemingly wanting to come in just yet, as Stuart Clark has got past Toby Ward, but then he's made a bit of a mess of the final chicane. Toby Ward's surely going to go. No, not back through. Or is he? Yes, he says. Down the inside, Toby Ward goes through, but no, Stuart Clark's now going to have the inside into Estoril. And we do have pit stop starting. Ben Chalcraft coming in, Martin Kenyon coming in. That is John Tusting actually just behind these guys. I thought it was Martin Kenyon for a moment with a front row seat to another epic battle, but Martin had that spin earlier, didn't he? Oh, that was close there. Nearly contact between the two of them. Toby Ward tries it round the outside as late as he dares on the brakes. Leaves Stuart room on the apex, but nothing doing. Has he done it this time though? Toby Ward still with the overlap through Nürburgring. You don't go too wide through here, boys. Oh, Stuart gets through and John Tusting has to jump out of the way to avoid hitting the back of the Stuart. But great action by these guys further down the order. Not quite inside the points though. But still, awesome, awesome entertainment once again from Formula 1. Here's Jack Stiles still trying what he can to get past Mike Murphy. Mike's defence has been pretty solid up to this point though in the Sauber. 7th place. Wouldn't be championship points in 1998, can you believe that? It was only into the early 2000s I think where they started giving points down to 8th place. Before that it was 6th place, and then even a long time before that you'd have to be in the top 5. You didn't even get 10 points for winning as well, you got 9 for winning a Grand Prix many, many moons ago. Here's Sam Fitzpatrick down the inside of Tim Perry, so he wants to make the move on the Ferrari and get this done now and go chasing after Pete Harrod. The lead gap is 1.1 seconds. Pete Harrod has a bit of a lock up there into the hairpin. This battle is livening up, I should say. Through Nürburgring, get to watch all 4 of these cars dart one way then the other, hard onto the brakes into 180. Sam Fitzpatrick puts his nose down the inside here. He's really trying to intimidate Pete Harrod, isn't he? Showing him whatever he can of that Winfield Williams. Now Pete is going to hate this. He doesn't need this. He doesn't want the drama behind him. He wants to just focus on the cars ahead and grab a podium. Another little puff of smoke there from the front right wheel as he has a bit of a lock-up. Cam Dance sits at the back of this though with a great view of it all. Jack Stiles still right behind Mike Murphy. Oh, Cam needs to be careful with that though, doesn't he? You could hear him dip the clutch. Trying to save fuel once more as they all run very wide out the chicane. Goodness me, Tim Perry has a big wobble and Cam Dance just about avoids him. And look at that, that's going to drop Tim right off this battle. That's not Mike Murphy behind him, by the way. That's Nico Minardi there in the number 13 machine, just in case you thought, wow, Mike's caught up. You know, him and Jack Stiles could well be in with a podium shout here. This is your lead duo. Jesper Eriksson and Jake Cranstone. Simon Price comes into the pits from 12th position as Pete Harrod has been overtaken by Sam Fitzpatrick. Pete Harrod in the Jordan loses a spot and the Williams are now starting to move forward here. Pete Harrod tucked right up behind the rear wing. Not able to make anything of it this time. He goes deep on the way into the corner to try and get a better run on the exit. Well, Sam Fitzpatrick is a man on a mission here. He's gained 8 places in this race so far. Started 11th on the grid. And it's been an awesome drive already by this young man. Certainly showing the fact that he's in that Williams is not a fluke. For anyone that doesn't realise, or doesn't know anyway, the pre-season testing that we did at the start of the Boremula 1 season is 3 timed sessions that we then put into sort of a championship points scenario and determine what people's pace is like and what cars they go into, so it looks realistic compared to those results of 98. Jack Styles has finally got past Mike Murphy, has he? We've got Pete Harrod coming into the pit lane. Has Jack got past Mike, though? Don't think he has he? He's down the inside. Yes, Mike relinquishes that one. I think he might come into the pits. No, he's going to continue the battle on. But Jack Styles now moves up a place. There is Pete Harrod in the pit lane. He's going to get moving in just a moment's time. Builds up the revs, gets going. Let's see where Pete comes out on track. He's going to have a lot of clear air, is he? Or is that Stuart Clark? Stuart Clark is going to be closing down on him. No, Pete's going to be in front, though. Oh, there's been a spin for Ben Chalcraft and Simon Price. They've both had a bit of a drama here. Martin Kenyon's now going to go past Chalcraft. And the gap at the very front is really coming down now. Jesper Eriksson not getting away from Jake Cranstone at all. Jake has restarted his mission to go chasing the car in front. He's very good at this. Although, oh, that was close. I was going to say there's chasing and then there's running into. Be interested to see how Jesper does in the pit stops, though, whether that does affect his race or not. Because a lot of these drivers would have practiced them and got used to how the pit stops work. They both continue on again, though. This is the thing, when you're in the lead of the race, it's one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it scenarios. We need to push on and just carry on. But Jake is really pushing on and carrying on, isn't he, now, in this McLaren Mercedes? It's been a great performance, though, by both of them so far. Jake broken away from the little pack behind. And is this the move then for the race lead? It is. Jake Cranstone later on the brakes. Tries to get some sort of cutback on the exit of the hairpin, but Jesper puts the car in exactly the right place. There's a move between the two Williams behind as Cam Dance goes past his teammate Sam Fitzpatrick for third. Oh, the cameraman nearly falls over. I nearly fall off my chair. And we've got Jesper Eriksson still in front of Jake Cranstone, and look at this, they're both taking very different lines everywhere they can. Behind them, this is still going on, all without Pete Harrod because he's been into the pits earlier than them. Sam Fitzpatrick puts his nose down the inside. No more into Williams contact, please, gentlemen. We're into the second half of the race now here at Magny-Cours, lap 15 out of 29. And things are only just spicing up, aren't they? We get these sort of phases of the race. We get the initial burst of chaos, and then the drivers all recuperating and getting back to where they want to be. And we get the pre-pit stop rush, so to speak, as everyone starts pushing again. And Jake Cranstone has been fended off, I'd say, this time round by Jesper Eriksson. He's done just enough to stay in front for another lap. Epic start to his campaign, safe to say. Down towards Gulf and then Adelaide. Love seeing these cars make their way into this hairpin as they slam on the brakes now. They stop so well, or do they? Jake Cranstone doesn't stop so well there, bad look of it. Overdoes it on the way in. Recovers nicely for the way out, but I tell you what, that's not going to feel great. After Tim Perry's little wobble earlier on, he's caught up with these guys again now. He's in slipstreaming range of the two Williams. That'll make him a lot more comfortable, because he knows that if he needs to save a bit of fuel or just save that extra tiny bit before his pit stop, even if it's not really high on the agenda for him, and he can make it work. There's the pit stops on the left, so it's Pete Harrod, this man here, that is the highest placed of those that have pitted at this moment in time. He's highlighted in green on your track map there. Clark, Ward and Lundgren just behind him have all got to stop yet. So no immediate threat to Pete Harrod from those guys at this moment in time. It's just going to be interesting to see what Pete can do with the clear air, because while you are in clear air and you don't have to slow down, as Jake Cranstone comes into the pits, what I was going to say is because you don't have to slow down because of the other cars, you can do quicker lap times. However, the main difference is that you're not getting slipstream as well. Potential battle going on here actually as Tim Perry now closes in on Sam Fitzpatrick for a temporary third position. I wonder where Jake Cranstone's going to come out of the pits actually, because he's going to be a while away from Pete Harrod for sure. But is he going to be that far ahead? Here comes Pete through the final chicane. Look out for a car leaving the pits on the left. Wow, he's already gone. He's already gone, is Jake Cranstone. Wow, he's absolutely gone. Jake is already here in the middle of this. He's actually come out between Jack Styles and Mike Murphy. So he needs to get away from Jack and get ahead of him as soon as he can. Rob Lundgren comes into the pits for Minardi. Jack Styles fighting this one against Jake Cranstone. This is the last thing Jake wants. He doesn't want anyone to be fighting him or holding him up. Well, this is something that Jack is well within his right to do. It's for track position, it's for a race position. And Cranstone is losing out because of this. He tries to send it down the inside, but Jack is not scared. Simon Price back into the points, by the way, into 12th position. 10 places gained from where he started. But this is an important moment in the race right now, because while Jake Cranstone is getting held up here by Jack Styles, I was going to say Jesper Eriksson continues on, but he's actually just come into the pit lane now. There is race leader Jesper Eriksson. Just making his way down the pit lane as Cam Dance and Sam Fitzpatrick carry on. Jake Cranstone still stuck behind Jack Styles. Is Jack going to pit this time and make life easier for Jake? Yes, he is. And Mike Murphy comes in as well. So both of them in the pits. Where is Jesper Eriksson? He's only just getting going now, to be fair. Jake could do this, I think. And he is going to, surely. Jake Cranstone round the outside. So even with being held up, he's in front of Jesper Eriksson. Jesper's pit stop 15.4 seconds. Jake Cranstone's 13.4. So that is the difference. Jake Cranstone effectively leads this race then at Magny-Cours, but Jesper's right behind him now, ready to take all of that slipstream. Pulls out to the left-hand side as they head down towards Adelaide. Late on the brakes they go. Jesper turns in. Oh, there's nearly contact there. Jesper doesn't leave all the room in the world. We've got a battle on for the lead, actually, which is Cam Dance and Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, goodness me, the two of them trying to scare each other as they go down towards Nürburgring. This doesn't work too wide through here, boys. Surely Jesper makes it work. Flipping heck. The bravery and confidence involved for these two drivers. Epic to behold. And Jesper Eriksson gets back in front then and effectively into the race lead. Let's see what this trio does, because it's the two Williams ahead of the Ferrari of Tim Perry. Are they going to now pit? As Cam is definitely going to pit because he's pushing very, very hard indeed. In he goes, in goes Sam, in goes Tim. And now coming back down the hill once again, slightly sideways there for Jesper Eriksson. That McLaren filling the rear view mirrors. I really need to sort that texture out on that rear wing, don't I? As Cranstone round the outside forces Jesper to brake later and defend that inside line. They're glued together. Need to be careful through the chicane. Somehow they both make it without mistake. The consistency and pace of these two is fantastic, isn't it? The other cars are on their pit exit now. Cam Dance has got a huge gap over the others, but where's Pete Harrod in all this? There is Pete. He's not able to get ahead of Cam, but he's outdone the other two, Sam Fitzpatrick and Tim Perry. As now, Jesper Eriksson is back in the race lead. 10 laps to go here at Magny-Cours. Great race so far, though. Plenty of chaos in the early stages, it has to be said. There's a battle going on further down between Martin Kenyon and Ben Chalcraft for 13th and 14th position. And John Roberts in there as well. John's in the thick of this, which is good to see. Nice to see John getting back into the battles once more. But here's the race pairing at the front for the lead. You've got to think, though, if these two fight enough, surely the cars behind of Cam Dance, Pete Harrod, Sam Fitzpatrick and Tim Perry, they could all be within touching distance as well within just a couple of laps, because it's only 3.6 seconds. We've seen drivers lose more than that in less time. Oh, they both sort of early commit there into Imola. Two of the young stars of this championship, two of the newcomers to the championship as well. This is only Jake's 5th race meeting with us. Jesper's very first one of the season. This makes for some excellent racing to watch though, doesn't it? Cranstone pushing hard now. Let's watch this through the chicane. Look at the commitment needed here. Oh, Jesper's sideways. He's very sideways. Jake backs out of it though. It's great sportsmanship. He makes sure he doesn't go into the back of him. Round turn 1. The left-hander at Grand Curve. Then towards turn 2 at Estoril. It's so easy to make an adjustment through there though and loop the car. But the Benetton holds on at the front of the field. This is epic stuff. Once again, Boremula 1 not boring at all. As Cranstone gets very close to the back of the Benetton now, dives to the left-hand side. Jesper comes over to the left a little bit. They both lock up on the way in. The gap behind is not actually getting any smaller, you know. It's still about 3 seconds. Still, they go at each other's throats here, these pairs. Oh no, Jake's way overdone it on the way into Nürburgring, and that's going to give Ericsson a little bit of breathing room for at least, I'd say, half a lap maybe. That's going to hurt, that is, for Jake Cranstone. He was pushing, but just pushing that little bit too hard. The gap is now 2.3 seconds back to Cam Dance, so Cam has seen this battle going on in front of him, and he can smell blood in the water now, and he's pushing. We've got 9 laps to go after this one. Look at the commitment through there by Cam. He really is a superstar in this car, isn't he? There's a reason he's reigning champion, 11-time race winner when nobody else has won more than 1. We are yet to have a double winner in the championship as, oh, Jesper Ericsson. He nearly makes a double winner out of Jake Cranstone for a moment there as he goes deep. Oh, it sounds like someone's had a drama. Someone's had a spin or something. Toby Ward having a bit of a moment there, down at 180. The camera placed just at turn 1 is very close to 180, so you can hear the cars going through that corner as well. Toby able to carry on though, stays inside the top 10. Stays in a point scoring position. Be great to see if Rob Lundgren and Simon Price can both get points as well. What about these pair? Very, very close to making contact as they go into Adelaide. Boy, oh boy, they're really testing each other here as Jesper Ericsson has a bit of a wobble on the way in and a wobble on the way out. Unbelievable stuff from these pair. They're throwing everything at this. Jesper Ericsson leads the French Grand Prix on his debut from Jake Cranstone, a man that came into this championship brand new for this season, teamed up with Silas Frolic, easily one of the fastest drivers in the series. I think Simon Price has just had an issue. I just said about Simon getting points for Tyrrell, and he's dropped down to 15th place. That battle that was just behind him have all overtaken him. I'm so sorry, Simon. It would be a commentator's curse if this wasn't being recorded 5 days later. But look at these two. This is it's a dance, isn't it? Speaking of a dance, that wasn't even an intended pun, but Pete Harrod is now all over the back of Cam as well, hoping to get a podium finish. But we need to keep the cameras on this duo at the front. Jesper Ericsson leading valiantly up to this point in his debut in the championship. I think you'll all agree that this is an epic performance. Look at the way it goes around Estoril. You can see when the car bites and when it grabs a little bit of grip here and there. Then up through the gears now, down towards Adelaide. Look at Cranstone now gaining and gaining and gaining. This is on the medium downforce setup as well. You should have seen it on the high last season. The slipstream was unbelievable. Cranstone tries to get a cutback. Doesn't quite work for him. It's still a decent idea, and he's got a good punch out of the corner, just not enough to completely overthrow Ericsson for the race lead before they get down towards Nürburgring. Through the right, through the left. Then hard on the brakes into 180. Jesper's defended it very hard. He throws the car right to the apex. Has to park it on said apex as well. Cranstone's surely going to get a run. A bit of a slide on the exit. What about behind them? Cam Dance and Pete Harrod not swapping places yet. Actually, Cam's slightly gapped him for just a moment. And Chalcraft, by the way, into the championship point scoring positions here and may be able to take the first point away from Minardi for this season. We've got purple sectors coming in from multiple drivers here, by the way. Cranstone, purple sector 1. Tim Perry, purple sector 2. Personal best sector on the last lap by Sam Fitzpatrick as well. Two leaders then come down into the final couple of corners once again. Cranstone gets his nose ahead. It changes over on the timing screen, but still Jesper Eriksson has the car in the right place, although he hits the curb. He hits the curb very, very hard. They're really holding each other up here because Cam Dance is now 2.4 seconds back. And there's a bit of damage on the front right of Eriksson's car. I do think he picked that up a couple of laps ago, though. But my goodness me, they are absolutely throwing everything at this. And Ben Chalcraft has delivered the fatal blow to Minardi. Both of their cars are literally that close to the points. That yellow car in front is a point-scoring position. They would need some drama to get points out of this now. Still got 6 laps left. So onto the brakes they go once more into Adelaide. Jake Cranstone this time trying it around the outside. Doesn't quite work for him. Jesper Eriksson has to be careful though because Jake's still on his left-hand side. Now he has to give him the room. Nürburgring's coming up and that's going to be right then left. Still a tiny overlap between the pair. Cranstone won't want to give it up, but it has to. He just has to play it safe. Has to be sensible in a moment like that. Now he tries to put his nose back down the inside, but he's not close enough to Jesper Eriksson. This is an epic, epic race, this, and a great display of very fast, very consistent, but also safe driving by these pair. You have to respect it. I'm in love with it. It's awesome fun to watch. Wondering though if Jesper is struggling a tiny bit with the fronts now and whether that front wing damage will be making any sort of difference. Obviously I hope for his sake that it isn't. We'd want to see both these cars at full chat right to the end of the race. Jake Cranstone's closing in so much on the brakes sometimes. He's really catching up with him as well. There's drama here as the... Oh no! John Roberts and Martin Kenyon bounce off each other. John tried to get on the throttle as early as he could on the exit of the hairpin. Simon Price gains a place out of it. Thanks very much, he says. But there was a bit of drama as they all locked up and then John wanted to get on the throttle and just bounced off the side of the Prost. We do still have both Prost running, by the way, actually. John Tusting is still going in 18th place. Nico Minardi still going. Zemstra still going as well. And Cranstone still going at Jesper Eriksson. He's absolutely thrown everything in the kitchen sink at him. Great defensive work, though, by Jesper to hold back such a fast driver. Look at this. The composure is just awesome. And behind them as well, with a view from further back. No, Toby Ward. Toby Ward's off the road. I was going to say Pete Harrod's got a great view of Cam Dance trying to chase down this lead pair. He can just see them in the distance. It's a painful moment knowing what must be done or what needs to be done when you're this far back from it. Jesper is really trying to call his bluff here, isn't he? He's very slow on the apex of some corners just to make sure that he keeps it tidy, and Cranstone, with a little bit more experience in this car, knows where to place the nose. We've only got a couple of laps left to go though, and I'm not sure how long Jesper Eriksson can keep this up, to be honest with you, because Cranstone is starting to now pick apart the puzzle in front of him of how to get past that Benetton. He knows where he needs to make the move, where it's going to be easier to make the move, and where he can potentially get a run. Look, he's later on the throttle there because he knows that he's just going to get the slipstream and work his way up towards the back of the Benetton. You can bet that Jesper Eriksson is going to keep the car on the right-hand side. He's not going to open up that door. And look, Cranstone's not even going for the slipstream all the way down. He's got a little bit of an overspeed and that's it. Onto the brakes they go again. Tries the cutback, but look, there's a little bit of a dip as you drop down on the apex of that corner and it just takes all the grip away. So a cutback isn't really possible because you can't get more grip than the car a little bit further out to the outside of the circuit than you. As Cranstone now again just puts his nose down the inside, but it's not welcome by Jesper Eriksson. Jack Stiles has had a spin in the Stuart Ford, by the way, on the previous lap, but he's got going again. He's been overtaken though by Mike Murphy, who's now 4 seconds clear of him. Back up into 7th position. A great run so far by Mike Murphy. Another great point scoring position for him on lap 25 here of 29 at the French Grand Prix. The final round in the first half of the season before we have a week off because of iRacing's week 13, where they will release the new build. Some very exciting cars and tracks coming our way. The Porsche 911 GT3 car, the GT3R 992 is on its way. The Cadillac prototype, the hypercar machine thing. Also got a new circuit, I believe. I just can't remember the name of it, sorry. Can't be a good one in that case, can it? Martin Kenyon, after his drama earlier, has come into the pits, I'm afraid, so the Prost, by the look of it, out of the race. Ben Shellcraft has just got past Toby Ward, although bit of a moment there. On the exit of the hairpin, they're a little bit slow. John Tusting has been off the road as these two once again nearly locking wheels. Oh, now Cranstone might actually have an overlap there, and he might be able to do something with this. This camera is one of the loudest on the circuit, isn't it? Boy, that's close together. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Through Nürburgring they go. And oh no, there's more contact, and Ericsson's off. Ericsson's off in a big, big way. The Benetton's off in the barriers. Oh, it was always going to be a risk. The two of them running too wide through the Nürburgring chicane. And Cranstone, that front right wheel just drifted slightly wide into Jesper Eriksson, and in the most dramatic of ways, Jesper has been spat into the barrier in what's been an amazing debut race. It's going to come undone. The car's damaged. The car is very, very damaged. It's promoted Cam Dance into second place. Pete Harrod up to third. Sam Fitzpatrick up to fourth from 11th on the grid. He's having a great race so far. So too is Simon Price. He's only one position off being in the points here. Nico Minardi's just gone past John Roberts. That might be why. John is off the road in a big way. John's got big front left damage there. And I think that's going to be race done for John Roberts, I'm afraid. But Jake Cranstone takes the lead of the French Bourg Prix, not in circumstances that he or anybody would have wanted. But it was down to just hard fighting in the end. Jesper Eriksson's going to have to come into the pits, which is a humongous shame, because what an amazing job he's done up to this point. Now, is there damage on Cranstone's car? Is that going to be something that means that Cam Dance can go chasing him down? There's Nico Minardi between him and them. Well, that's obviously not for position. And Simon Price for Tyrrell is now inside the points, and Rob Lundgren is right behind him. Both of these teams are yet to score a point this season, Tyrrell and Minardi. So both will be very grateful for their first points of the season, and I know that Rob Lundgren and Simon Price will both be over the moon to grab them if they can. They've got 3.5 seconds back to Kevin Zemstra and only 2 more laps of the race to do, so can they hold on? And can Pete Harrod or Cam Dance hold on here? Because Sam Fitzpatrick once again is on a real mission here in the Williams. Sam's going to go chasing another podium. Pretty sure that up to this point Sam's had just the one podium so far this season, which was second place in Canada. It was. Look at that over the chicane there. Really abusing these cars. Cam Dance has been on the podium in every race so far this season. He's won 3 and he's been in third place for one of them. Jake Cranstone has been on the podium in 3 of them. He had a nightmare last time out at Montreal. But right now he leads this race by 1.3 seconds from everybody else. Like I say, that was not the way he would have wanted to take the lead. And I know that realistically Jesper Eriksson wouldn't feel too hard done by with it as well. Jesper is now right behind Mike Murphy with 2 laps to go for this pairing. And after getting the car repaired, after getting some fresh rubber, you can imagine it's going to be a case of when, not if, Jesper gets past Mike. No disrespect to Mike, because he's done a great job here in France. But Jesper now with fresh rubber on that car is going to be able to push like hell and salvage some championship points from it. Look at this all of a sudden. Cam Dance is now under massive pressure from Pete Harrod and Sam Fitzpatrick. Jesper Eriksson has got past Mike Murphy. Pete having to back out there for just a moment of that manoeuvre. Is Sam going to send it? No, nearly. Oh no, Jesper's off. Jesper's off again. He's given the place back to Mike Murphy. He's lost it on the exit of the hairpin. And he's lost a place to Jack Stiles as well. Jack's gone through in the Stewart up into 7th position. How is the battle for the final point spot coming on? Simon Price still ahead of Rob Lundgren. Tyrrell ahead of Minardi. And here is your race leader, Jake Cranstone, over the line for one more lap now at Magny-Cours. In what's been a heart-stopping French Grand Prix, to quote the late, great Murray Walker. Let's go on board with Sam Fitzpatrick, though, and see what this slipstreaming session is all about here. It's very difficult to overtake for the rest of the lap now. So this is going to be Pete Harrod's golden opportunity in that no longer golden Jordan. He dives out to the left-hand side. Sam Fitzpatrick's just mirroring what Pete's doing at the moment. He's going to try and get a cutback, but Pete's gone deep, and Sam says, thanks very much. If you're going to throw yourself out there, I'll take a piece of that. Thank you, sunshine. Great stuff by Sam Fitzpatrick. Very opportunistic. All of them glued together now. It's one 12-wheel Pro Mazda as they go into Nürburgring, and Pete Harrod's got to back out of it. Cam Dance loses it. Cam Dance is off. Cam Dance goes one way, then the other at Nürburgring. Pete Harrod's gone deep now after that. But Cam Dance just trying to compromise a little bit too much, and all of a sudden, it's the Williams that have swapped around. And no, there's been drama for Simon Price and Toby Ward. Rob Lundgren's gone through for Minardi, and he's going to try and get their final championship points. Kevin Zemstra has managed to benefit from that as well. Kevin's gained 3 places out of all of it. But somehow, Sam Fitzpatrick's found himself in second place out of Pete Harrod and Cam Dance. The 2 Williams swap round either side of the Jordan. That's amazing. But into the final couple of corners, well, the talking point is going to be how he got that race lead. But I tell you what, he's done an amazing job otherwise, hasn't he? What a great job by Jake Cranstone to take the victory here in the French Grand Prix. And Cam Dance has outdone Pete Harrod to the line. Sam Fitzpatrick started 11th, finished in 2nd place. What a drive that is. Cam Dance rounds out your podium. Pete Harrod finishes in 4th out of Tim Perry. Mike Murphy finishes in 6th, or he will do anyway. But my goodness me, what a lively race that was here at the French Grand Prix. Mike Murphy's going to come home in 6th, 2.2 seconds ahead of Jack Stiles. Jesper Eriksson, you have to say, what a great debut in the championship he's had. Pole position on his debut, led almost every lap of the race. He's going to come home in 8th, so the score sheet isn't going to tell the full story. But what a great job he's done. 9th place is going to go that way of Stuart Clark. Ben Chalcraft is then going to be in 10th. And that's a great recovery considering that he got absolutely smashed into in the second corner by Stuart Clark, actually, who still gained 3 places from where he started. Really shows you that you can recover in these races despite the earlier dramas. As, oh my goodness me, Simon Price has overtaken Rob Lundgren. Rob Lundgren's run out of fuel. I was dead set that Minardi were going to get their first points of the season in this race, but Simon Price, after his drama with Toby Ward just a lap ago, he's going to do it. Tyrrell are going to get their first points on the board, surely. This is going to be an epic result for them. Zemstra does a great job to recover to 11th. And Simon's going to run out of fuel as well, but he's going to do it. Points for Tyrrell at the French Grand Prix in the most unconventional circumstances. Wow. Wow, oh wow. What an amazing race once more from the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship by F1Countdown.com. Sponsored also by Sim Racing Magazine and Abruzzi. This may have been recorded afterwards. The excitement is as live, I tell you. Jake Cranstone takes the win, 2.6 seconds clear of the electric Sam Fitzpatrick. What a great result that is as well. 9 places gained from 11th on the grid to finish in 2nd, with his teammate Cam Dance getting the move done at the very end of the race there over Pete Harrod in 4th. Tim Perry gets big points for Ferrari in 5th, ahead of Mike Murphy. A solid result from him and for Jack Stiles as well. Jesper Eriksson will be wondering what might have been, with Stuart Clark in 9th and Ben Chalcraft rounding out your top 10. A great recovery from Stuart, Ben and Kevin Zemstra in that one. Simon Price gets the first points of the season for Tyrrell. The team and Simon will be over the moon with that. Rob Lundgren will be decimated with losing out there for Minardi on the final lap. 13th place for him ahead of Toby Ward. Nico Minardi also 1 lap down with them. John Roberts was 4 laps down in 16th ahead of Martin Kenyon. Then we have John Tusting 18th, Ben Hoffman 19th, Tom Minot and Silas Craig-Frolic also out the race, and then Chaz Draycott not taking part in the race because he's here busy commentating. Well, there's no interviews, of course, because this is being recorded afterwards as live, but I really hope you enjoyed that 5th round of the championship here in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship, everybody. Sponsored by F1Countdown.com, of course, Sim Racing Magazine and Abruzzi as well. Thanks very much for all of your patience as well, and apologies for the colossal technical issues and connection issues that I'm always having at this time of year, which mean that we have to record this afterwards. But I really do appreciate all of you supporting me and sticking with me through this and this championship as well. Thanks very much for your time today, everybody. If you've watched this all the way through, I thoroughly hope you've enjoyed that, and we will see you again on Wednesday, the 14th of June, for the British Boar Prix. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you very soon.
Four French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. They're three wide again. Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across. They're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
Before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy. You know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake. Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been mugged and a drift to show off. Back there, go on board with Ben Gregory now. I love it. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.